So let's start the playlist from, let's see. Let's start from the Dio song, Last in Line. Okay, so let's start that song in 3, 2, and go ahead. All right, cool. So from here, so sorry for everyone that's joining us right now on YouTube. We just had a technical difficulty with Zoom, so we're doing a shorter class today, which will focus on some back bends and some hamstring openers. So we're gonna start the same way we started before we had all those issues. We're gonna have our blanket or block. Should be about 3 to 4 inches tall, could be lower if you have super tight hamstrings. We're bringing one heel to the floor and the foot to the blanket or block, and just moving a little forward and back. Switching feet, left heel or the other foot, whichever one you haven't done. Foot to the blanket or block, shifting a little forward and back. And let's go ahead and bring both feet to the blanket or block. Starting by standing up nice and tall, see if you can balance here. It's definitely a deep opener in the calves. If you have a block here instead, it's definitely a lot more difficult to do just because the blanket gives a little bit. And let's go ahead, tilt forward and do a forward fold. Moving side to side a few times. Let the head drop down. Excuse me. Looking underneath one arm and the other. From here, we're going to skip a few things we did just to make the class a little shorter. Let's meet everyone in downward facing dog. Stay in your downward dog. Excuse me. Just going to turn off the chime. Make sure all the security features are on and good. Okay, cool. So from here, we're in downward facing dog. I didn't forget about you, don't worry. We're just repeating a few poses just to get back in the flow, lifting the right leg up, open the hip, draw the knee forward, step through, low lunge, lower the back left knee, sweep the arms up. You can bring your hands to hips here and really lean into this back bend, drawing the shoulders back. Take a few breaths. And bring the hands down, switching sides. Coming through downward facing dog, then lifting the left leg to switch sides. Open that left hip. Draw the knee forward, step through. Low lunge, right knee lower, sweep arms up. Again, you can bring hands to hips, draw shoulders back. Finding your breath today. Just taking a moment to breathe away the chaos. Slowing down. Hands lower, step back. Downward facing dog. From here, we're taking the hands and we're bringing them over to the left side of the mat. We're lifting the right leg up and we're drawing the foot forward to the right side next to your right hand. Now we're going to keep our hips lifted for now. We're just going to shift forward and back. Thanks for everyone joining now. Sorry about that technical difficulty earlier. I guess there was a Zoom outage across the entire app. Let's step the right foot back, downward dog. Hands go over to the right side of your mat. Thumbs can touch. Step the left foot forward in this low lunge here, but keeping the knee lifted. And we're just going to shift forward and back, opening that right hip. Nice. From here, we're going to step the right foot forward in Malasana in a squat pose. Stepping through, lowering down. You can also take your block underneath as a seat for a little more of a comfy pose. You can open up the chest, press the fingertips together, separate the palms here if that's good for you, looking up or looking forward. Let's bring the hands down, slowly lift the hips. Take a forward fold, bending one knee at a time. Take a few more of these at your own pace. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to go through one sun A. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's step one foot back and the other for plank. Go high to low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And lift the hips to downward facing. Press down into the hands firmly. Look back at your toes. Taking 4 breaths to stay here. Look forward. And step one foot forward in the next. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, sweep the arms up to rise. Inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Find stillness here, standing. Roll the shoulders down and back. Suck the belly button in. Try not to have a back bend here. Try to stand up nice and tall. Again, drawing the belly button in. Let's lift the arms up and sit down into chair pose, Utkatasana. Really sitting back so your toes can wiggle and lift off the floor. Draw the chest open. Let's sit here in our chair and pulse for a count of 10. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay low. Step the left foot back. We're coming into warrior 2. Stepping left foot back, opening the arms. It's a little awkward to step back and have the toes pointing to the left, but you can do it. Open the arms, keep them strong. You might wiggle the feet away from each other a little bit here and get a deeper pose if you want to get a little deeper stretch in the hamstrings and a little more strength building in that right quad. Look down your right arm and forward. Stay here and breathe. I was looking at my tarot cards this morning, trying to get inspiration for class, and I came across the Queen of Swords. And if you have any familiarity with tarot cards, the swords represent clarity of the mind or any kind of mental state. And the Queen of Swords represents looking forward at change. It can be a little bit of a sad card. The change can be sad, the change can be good. And that really resonated with me today. But the Queen is always a strong character and represents a peaceful energy. Maybe you think about that during the rest of your practice. Flip the right palm, reverse. And let's come into side angle pose, right forearm to right thigh, left arm over left ear, side angle pose. Always keeping space between the right shoulder and right ear. Maybe you even take your left fist and put it on top of the right shoulder. Make sure that you're not getting that lean right there with the shoulder coming to the ear. Keep it separate. Come back into warrior 2. You might heel toe your left foot a little closer to the front if you widen your stance out. Let's look forward and step back into our chair. We're switching sides. So we're stepping the right foot back for warrior 2. Arms open up, maybe you widen it to make it deeper. Warrior 2 can be a very powerful pose. You're taking a big wide stance. Your heart is open, but you're also looking forward, looking very determined. Maybe you think back to that tarot card for a little inspiration, looking toward change, toward positive change, letting go of the negative in the past. Get deeper in that left thigh. Flip the left palm, reverse. And let's come into side angle pose, left forearm to left thigh, right arm over right ear. Reaching, making a nice long straight line from that right heel to right fingertips. Again, maybe you take the right fist, bring it to the top of the left shoulder. Just make sure you have space between your left ear and left shoulder. We're coming back up. We're getting ready to meet the foot back in chair pose. Reach forward, shift the hips forward and step. Staying in chair, we're going to do it again, but a little bit different. Let's set the left foot back, warrior two. We're reversing right away. We're going to straighten the right leg and come into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Left arm reaches up. Heart is open. You can look up or down or across. You can always use your block here at the lowest or highest point. I like to grab my ankle or sometimes just press the top of my hand into the inner right shin just to get a little more strength in that right leg. You can always flip the top left palm to face the other way, bend the elbow and drop it behind the back. Look up over the left shoulder if you're there. Let's start to come up and bend the right knee. We're reaching forward again to switch sides, step left foot forward, and right away, right foot steps back, warrior two. Reverse right away. Straighten the left leg, coming into Trikonasana. Left leg lower, or left arm lowers, right arm reaches up. Triangle pose. You can also find this nice core workout here, lifting the left arm off the left leg. Or you can flip that palm around up top and drop the right hand behind your back. Take a couple more breaths. And let's slowly peel ourselves up, bend the left knee, reach forward, hips look forward, and step forward. We're doing it similar one more time, but instead of stepping into warrior two, we're stepping the left foot back for pyramid pose. So our hips will continue to face forward. The left foot steps back, not too long, not too far, and the toes are facing forward. The left foot can be at a 45 degree angle facing forward and to the left. If you have your blocks, you can use them here at either side of your right leg. Otherwise, let's all reach up. Exhale, forward fold, flat back over the right leg. You can bend that right knee a little or a lot, and you can bring your hands down to the floor. You can also bring your hands to your hips or bring your hands together behind your back. It's kind of the classic pose to do with your hands, classic mudra. In your pyramid pose, definitely isn't required. I actually prefer just to really deepen myself into this pose with my hands, dropping my head down. Take a few breaths. Let's bend the right knee, come back up. We're stepping forward, chair pose. And again, right foot steps back for pyramid pose. Hands can be at hips, behind the back, or reaching down towards the floor, up to you. As we take a flat back and we forward fold over the left leg. Take a few breaths. Two more deep breaths. Nice, bend the left knee. Let's come up and step the right foot forward, chair. And we're only gonna do this other part on one side. So let's step the left foot back all the way and point the right toes and left toes in towards each other. You might heel to the feet further apart to get a deeper pose here. You can grab your strap behind your back if you'd like, or you can interlace your hands behind your back and peel the chest open. You take an inhale, and as you exhale, forward fold, dropping the head down, arms can drop down. You can have your strap here as well. Take 3 breaths, stay. Nice. Now let's drop the hands down. Look forward, point the right toes forward. Left toes tuck underneath. Step the right foot back for plank pose. And nice and slow, let's start to lower the hips down to the floor, untuck the toes, and come into cobra. So if you want to get a little lower here, maybe you're not quite into back bends today, you can also lower the chest here. Deeper, it's a much deeper pose for your triceps though. You're getting a lot of work in the arms. Or if you want a deeper back bend, you can straighten the arms, roll the shoulders back. Kind of modify as you need for your back today. Nice. From here, let's come all the way down onto our bellies. We can start by stacking our hands, letting our forehead come down to our stacked hands, moving the hips left and right. From here, let's lift the head, bring the arms behind us, palms facing down. Draw the shoulders up and touching. Lift the legs up off the floor. Spread the fingers, look forward and down, lifting as high as you can. Lifting up, squeeze the glutes for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Lift a little higher for 1. Let's lower down. Again, bring the hands forward. Same thing, locust pose, but arms are in a different spot. Arms lift up, palms face down, lift the legs. Point the toes, spread the fingers, reaching up and forward. You can look forward and down, or just down. Reaching for 5, 4, 3, squeeze the glutes for 2, lift higher for 1, and lower down. Let's do 1 more, but this time we're gonna pulse. We're only gonna pulse the upper body. So we're gonna have the arms come into goalpost arms, bending the elbows on either side of your body, palms facing down. And you can press the tops of the feet down into the floor. So we're gonna start, just go ahead, start by lifting your chest. Exhale, lower. Let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lower the head down, stack the hands, wiggle the hips side to side. Just making sure whatever's going on my computer is all set. Something weird. All right, cool. Nice. From there, we're gonna come into a bow pose. Now this is a much deeper back bend, and if you don't feel super comfortable with it, you can do more locust pose, more of the locust pose or not. But I'll show you how to get into bow pose. We start by bending the knees and bringing the heels close to the glutes. We're gonna reach back. Let's start with the left hand, palm facing away from you, thumb pointing up, and grab the inner left shin, like right below the ankle or right on the ankle. Let's not grab the foot. You get a little more openness in the chest if you grab more of the shin or ankle. Same thing with the right hand, thumb reaching up. Again, it might be a good idea to not grab the leggings. Draw the knees a little closer together. They seem to come apart sometimes. And let's press the feet or the shins into the hands and lift the chest. If you're here and you want to stay, try breathing deep breaths and see if you can rock a little forward and back. If this is too deep a back bend for you today, especially with our shortened class, maybe you come into another locust pose. Let's see if we can stay for a few more breaths. And nice and slow, lower down, release, stack the hands, lower the forehead down. And you can bend the knees and kick the heels side to side, windshield wipering the legs. Nice. From here, I had a few other things planned, and this was generally going to be the end of class, but I'm going to circle back and do some things that were supposed to be at the beginning that we missed. So let's press ourselves up to tabletop. We're coming into a saddle pose. So take your block or your blanket. We're going to bring our knees to either side of it, shins and knees on either side, and take a seat down so we're on our knees. This can be a very deep pose for a lot of people. If this is too deep, you might stack your blocks a little bit higher. The blanket will be for people that can come into this a little bit easier. We're going to go ahead and bring the hands back behind us, fingertips pointing forward. We've done this pose before in our classes. Press the hands down and open the chest. Start to look up. It's not always a good idea to completely drop the head back in poses, but for now, let's drop the head back because we spend so much time on our phones and computers. Sometimes our neck needs to remember that it can open up and look up and not just look down all the time. Press down and maybe look back. Slowly bring the chin to chest. Stay leaning back, and we're going to do little tricep dips here. We're going to press down, lower the back towards our toes, press the hands down into the floor. Keep doing this. At first, it doesn't feel like much of a workout, but if you keep pressing the heels of the hands firmly down into the floor, you're going to start to feel the heat in your triceps. Pressing firmly and pressing up hard and fast and lowering down slower. Let's do a few more of these at your own pace. These are one of those things that you'll be surprised at the soreness you'll have after this. Let's do 3, 2, and 1 from here. Let's go ahead and kick out the left foot. So you might have to come off a little bit, or you can also just draw the left foot forward. I'm going to switch the way I'm sitting on my blanket. It's a little more comfortable. So we're in the half saddle pose, flexing those left toes up. Or half hero's pose, depends on if you follow yin or more vinyasa style. If you have your strap, you can hook it around your left foot and take a nice forward fold. Otherwise, you can lift the arms up, forward fold over the left leg, and grab the foot. Draw the chest forward towards the big left toe. And then we drop the head down. Let's walk the hands up. Switching sides, so I'm going to scoot that left leg back, right leg forward. Take your time here. It might be different for you to get into that pose. Flexing those right toes up towards the sky. Again, using your strap here if you have it, or you can just lift the arms up. Forward bend over the right leg with a flat back. Let the hands come down to the shin, toes, thigh, whatever. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Take a few breaths, and then maybe let the head drop down. Nice, slowly come up. Let's take both legs out. I'm still sitting on my blanket. It's a little bit more forgiving to be sitting on a block or blanket for your forward fold here. Flex the toes up. Inhale, lift the arms up. Hug the belly in, forward fold, flat back. Drop the hands down to shins, feet. Draw the chest forward. And if you'd like, you can drop the head down between the shoulders. Slowly come up, move the blanket away or block away to the side. We're taking a seated figure 4, so let's bend the knees, cross the right foot over the left thigh. We're gonna walk the hips closer to the left heel and bring the hands behind our backs, fingertips pointing away. Now you're gonna move a little side to side on the hands, shifting the hands closer together Seeing if you can maybe even touch your pinkies to each other. If you can't, that's totally okay. It's not a requirement. The purpose of this is just to open the chest a little bit more as you come into this hip opener. You can scoot that left heel even closer towards you, flexing the right foot. Opening the chest, puff the chest up and start to look up. You can even move a little side to side, shifting this hip opener left and right. Let's keep the hands where they are. Let go of that right leg, cross the left foot over the right thigh, and bend the knee as high as we can. Flexing the left foot, maybe shifting a little side to side. Puff the chest up, look up. Nice. I want to see what we missed early on. So go ahead, release the arms nice and slow. They might be a little bit sore. Grab the shins, lean forward. Nice job. From here, let's go ahead and come into our crunches. I know we're all excited to do that. We're gonna lift the legs up towards the sky. We're not gonna do many today. Let's just do 20. So make them good and don't cheat here. And I want you to use really tiny movements. Now, if you've been taking our Pilates or our Barre classes, you might have more of a familiarity with small movements and how they can be more conducive to building muscle, especially in the core. So when you do crunches, I don't want to see tons of movement like this. I want to see the chest lifted in little pulses, almost hard to see from the video. So let's go ahead and lift the chest, lift the shoulder blades off the floor, bring the feet up to the sky, and let's go ahead at our own count, do 20 crunches. Don't forget to breathe. Almost there. And when you're ready, go ahead and lower down, feet to the floor, knees move left and right, release the core. Nice. From here, let's take bridge pose. One of my favorite poses, as you know. Lower the arms down by your sides, press the feet into the floor, knees up, lift the hips. Squeeze the glutes, press the arms down into the floor. Palms pressed down. Puff the chest up a little bit to get more of a back bend. Staying here, let's do a couple pulses. Let's just pulse for 10 seconds. So pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay, lift a little higher. Squeeze the glutes for 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Move the knees left and right. Let's come up again. This time, if you want to use your block, you can use it as a little supported bridge prop. So if you have your block, you can even use your blanket. You can lift the hips and slide it underneath the sacrum, which is between the lower spine and the tailbone, lower down on the block or the blanket. If you feel a back bend in this pose, that means that the block is probably too far up the spine. So go ahead and lower it down an inch at a time until you find that nice lengthening pose in the back. Stay here, close the eyes, just breathe. It's a really nice restorative pose. This pose makes me tired every time I do it. It can be fun to play with. Sometimes I like to bring 1 foot or 2 feet up off the floor and just find a little balance here. Sometimes you can even extend the legs further away from the hips and get an even deeper pose here. Nice. Let's bring the feet down to the floor again. Let's lift up and remove the block. From here, it's up to you what next pose you want to take. You can take another bridge pose. You can take a wheel pose, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Now, when you take that pose, your hands come behind your ears. Maybe you try it today. Just be careful of your neck. Every time you come down out of wheel pose, I want you to tuck the chin into your chest and really round the spine. You shouldn't be landing on the top of your head. You should always be tucking chin into chest, so just remember that. If you want to try this pose out, go ahead, bring the hands behind the ears, press and lift up. Maybe you've come into your bridge pose or your restorative bridge. See if you can lift the heels off the floor. Maybe you lift up one at a time. See how that feels. Now as we come down, again, chin to chest, slowly come down, nice and slow. Bring the knees into chest. Hug them in, move side to side. Now we're taking that shorter class route today since we had those technical difficulties, so let's start to wind down. Extend the left leg down to the floor. Knee is hugged into chest with the right knee, and let it slide over to the left for lying twist. The right arm can reach over to the right side. Take 3 deep breaths to stay. Bring the knees back into chest. Extend the right leg down to the floor, left knee hugs in, cross it over to the right side, and left arm reaches to the left side, lying twist. Take 3 deep breaths. Nice, bring the knees back into chest. Let's take a nice happy baby. Who doesn't love to do that right at the end of class? It's nice to rock a little side to side as well. Maybe find some stillness, close the eyes. Sometimes I like to grab the big toes, and maybe kick out one leg at a time. And from here, it's time for Shavasana. So you can go ahead and lay all the way down. Sometimes it's nice to shift over to the wall and bring your feet up the wall. Legs up the wall pose, the Burrito Karani. And I'll show you how to do that if you have a wall nearby. You can go ahead, just kind of scoot your hips over to the wall. Come onto one of your sides and then move your butt closer to the wall. Come onto your back and just lift the legs up towards the wall. It's as easy as that. You can have your arms open up to the sides. Close the eyes and breathe. Take a deep breath in. Hold the breath in. Open the mouth, big exhale through the mouth. Breathe naturally. Listening to the noises outside. Maybe you hear your music. I hear the birds chirping, a little bit of traffic. Start to feel that boundary between you and the rest of your surroundings dissolve. With your eyes closed, you start to forget where you begin and where the rest of the world begins. melting into one. Focusing on your heart center. Remembering today to don't be too hard on yourself. Try not to judge yourself too harshly or really at all right now. Just allowing yourself to need what you need, allowing yourself to feel what you feel, allowing yourself to be lazy if you want to be lazy, to be hungry if you want to be hungry, to be silly if you want to be silly. You're allowed to ask for help. You're allowed to need your friends. And remember that you brought yourself here on your mat today, which is so important. If your legs are up the wall, maybe start to bend them in toward you. Squeeze them in towards the chest and maybe tilt to one side. You can slowly push yourself up, meeting me in a seated position. Roll the shoulders down and back. So let's take a deep inhale together. Exhale out through the mouth. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Bring the hands to heart center. Feeling a sense of peace and oneness with your surroundings. Even when we feel disconnected, we can find a connection with the people and the things around us. The light and dark in me loves and honors the light and dark in you. Together we say, Namaste. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks so much for rejoining class, even after the Zoom issue. I guess there was an outage across the entire app, so I feel good that it wasn't my fault. But I will be posting this to YouTube if you want to do it again. And for those of you watching on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe. I put out new videos every week. And I will see you all next on Tuesday. Wait, no, I'm sorry, Monday with Brandyn at 6:30 p.m. for power yoga. So that's tomorrow night. He gives a nice, hot, sweaty class. He's awesome. And but he's really beginner friendly too, so you won't feel like super out of place. So thanks so much for joining. And thanks for the 3 of you guys.